Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kadzik, on December 21st, the Department of Justice sent a letter to state, local law enforcement with absolutely no warning and deferring the payment sharing of the asset forfeiture program. In fact, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit this letter into record.
Without objection, sword.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This program may need reform, yet our local county sheriffs and other law enforcement depend on these seized funds. To pull the rug out from under these local law enforcements with absolutely no warning or no consideration, I believe, is preposterous. In fact, let me read from the letter. It says, effective immediately, the Department will defer all equitable sharing payments to our state, local, and tribal partners and transfer any items for official use. Why would the Department of Justice, with no warning, on December 21st, said this program is either stalled, concluded? In fact, it doesn't really say to what degree. Can you explain this?
I'm not intimately familiar with that program, Congressman, but my understanding is that the funds that were part of that program were reallocated by Congress in the budget, so there was no money there to distribute.
According to this says this is a decision by the Department of Justice. I want to come back to that, but I want to also, speaking of sheriffs, talk about what happened on November 17, 2015. Following Attorney General Loretta Lynch's appearance in the House Judiciary Committee, Mr. Chaffetz submitted a number of questions for the record to the Department. These questions concern reports from multiple sheriffs in North Carolina, predominantly a sheriff in our district from Alamance County, concerning how the Department of Justice has terminated or refused to renew grants to local police departments based on allegations of racial discrimination. These questions seek to learn how often and under what circumstances these grants denials have been made. Did you receive these questions for the record?
I believe we did.
And what has been the submitted response? My
understanding is that those responses are being prepared now and will be submitted promptly.
And when you say submitted promptly, what is the time frame that you believe that would conclude?
I can't give you a specific time frame, but I'd be happy to go back and check on the status and respond to you.
Who receives these responses? Who vets them?
Who vets them? The various components within the department that have responsibility for the areas that are the subject of the questions.
Okay, I want to sort of cut through the vagueness there or the ambiguity and ask this. Assuming we would like to follow up on the answers that you are saying promptly that you'll provide for us, is there a mechanism in place for us to submit such follow-up questions? And can you share with me how that works?
You can send correspondence to the Attorney General or to me.
Okay. Do you think Congress should submit more QFRs? Would that provide a helpful mechanism for the Department to answer our questions?
No. If we have outstanding QFRs, we'll respond to the ones that are there.
Let me ask.
Asking the same question again doesn't make it any easier to.
Well, then let me ask a general question. Then, in your opinion, do you consider it part of your mission to be helpful to members of Congress in providing these responses?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I want to conclude with this question. When you say prompt, can you give me a timeline? Is there a time frame? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months? I'd like to know. Listen, this sheriff, this has been ongoing for 7 years, and even recently, okay, the Department of Justice. The court came together. They made a decision. No wrongdoing here. He thought he was getting his grants. The Friday before that he was supposed to get the grants, the Department of Justice appealed this decision. So please tell me, when you say promptly, what does that look like for us?
Well, I don't recall the volume of QFRs that we received. I'll go back and look at those, and I'll try and provide you with a timeline as to when we can respond.
You would try to provide me with a timeline on when you could respond. Just that's what frustrates us. The ambiguity, maybe here, possibility. I would like, can we set maybe end of January, 1st of February? Is there a specific timeline that you, according to me, that's prompt. You said the word prompt. What is a prompt response that I can let this sheriff, who has gone through 7 years of hell trying to get past this and get his grants where he can make not offensive weapons, but defensive weapons for his deputies, for his officers, that he can protect the community of Alamance County? What is a prompt response for that?
Well, not being familiar with the particular question that was asked or the circumstances of why the grant was denied or terminated, I can't tell you precisely what prompt would be. As I said, I'll be happy to go back to inquire as to the status of it and then give you a timeline.
So maybe it was best not to use the word prompt. Just maybe we'll get an answer back to you at some point. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Now,